There we go. Okay. Thank you all very much for being here this morning. I so appreciate it. So let's go ahead and start with a little bit of breath. So take a moment and get nice and comfortable. Make sure that hips are higher than your knees so that you've got that nice little J curve going through your spine and that you're actually resting on your sits bones rather than your tailbone. Take a moment to kind of notice how the shoulders are feeling today. Beautiful. Make sure that they're feeling relaxed and that you actually have some space between your shoulders, your neck, and your ears. Let your hands come to rest, palms up. Let your eyes gently close. And for your first few cycles of breath, just gently connect into where your body is right now. How does it feel as you inhale? How does it feel as you exhale? And just gently observe. And we'll begin our practice today by just really breathing into our full diaphragmatic breath, letting it begin at the low belly. So as you begin to connect into the breath, allow your body to shift so that you can feel that low belly expand. As you inhale, gently feel it contract and draw in and then up as you exhale. Slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Feel your body connect into this low belly. And as you breathe into your low belly, if possible, hold the vision that as you inhale, you're really drawing your diaphragm down so that you're really exercising your diaphragm as you breathe into your low belly. And the more that you can feel that belly push out and away from you, the more you can stretch and open that diaphragm. And then as you exhale, I want you to feel as you engage through the front of the belly, feel that diaphragm lift and really connect into the exhale by really gently drawing in and then up so that now the diaphragm gets to massage and gently push into the lungs to really expand and expel the air. So as you inhale and gently feel that low belly draw out, that diaphragm draws down, feel the stretch there. And as you exhale, gently drawing in and up, the diaphragm is releasing, relaxing, and it's moving all the way back up against the bottoms of the lungs. Let's squeeze that breath out. So really feel that connection drawing in and up through that low belly. Squeeze it up. And let's go ahead and do that one more time. So hold that vision of your diaphragm drawing down. And then gently hold that vision and that squeeze as you gently draw in and up. Now, as it becomes comfortable for you, we're going to continue with that low belly work, but now I want you to also engage through the rib cage so that as you inhale, Not only does your low belly fill and expand so that you're drawing down, but I also want you to feel the rib cage expand to the front, expand to the back, and expand side to side, contracting into your intercostal muscles in between your ribs. And then as you exhale, feel the rib cage come back to normal and soft. Feel that low belly draw in so that you can really press the breath out through the lungs. And again, when you're ready, as you inhale, fill the low belly and find expansion in all directions through the rib cage. And then exhale, feel the rib cage relax, letting the intercostal muscles soften and stretch, and gently pressing in through the low belly to squeeze the air out. Just getting a full deep exhale. And one more time, as you inhale, feel that low belly full. Feel the expansion in all directions through the rib cage, possibly all the way up to the collarbone. Feel that rib cage relax and recede. Feel that low belly gently draw in. And then 3 more times in silence, I want you just to simply focus on that breath. At the end of your third breath, please place your hands over your heart so that way we can move into the next piece. As you finish your third breath, and you bring your hands over your heart, we're going to now move into our space where we get to sing. We sing to massage our vagus nerve. We sing to feel that beautiful frequency. We sing to our heart, because by singing to our vagus nerve, it also relaxes and supports the heart. So we'll sing the sound of ah, then we'll move into the sound of o, and then the sound of mm. On your fourth silent breath, please set your intent for your practice today, something that you most need and something that you most desire. So when you're ready, use the breath that we began with, slow, full, deep diaphragmatic breath. Gently release your hands. Take a moment with your arms down by your side and let's take a full, long, deep breath of joy. So as you inhale, filling from the low belly, lengthen out through those fingertips. Bring the arms all the way up, big movement. Let the palms touch and exhale. And gently draw down. Hands to the heart, thumbs rest on the heart point on your sternum. From here, when you're ready, gently turn the corners of your mouth up. Let your eyes gently open. Thank you, you guys. Okay, let's release our hands. So, while we are still seated on our cushions, take a moment to grab a strap, and we're going to start moving into some gentle twisting. So what you're going to do is I want you to begin by allowing this left leg to come out, and then I want you to draw your right leg in. Okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit more. There we go. All right, you're good. Okay, so typically when we twist over the straight leg. Today, however, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to twist in the direction of the bent leg. And the reason why we're going to do this is that we are actually, this is the first half of the posture. In the second half of the posture, we're doing it in this manner so that we can actually begin to open into our quadratus lumborum muscles. These are low back muscles, okay? And they act as side-to-side stabilizers. And a lot of times they can get a little wonky. They don't always stay as happy as they should be. So what you're going to do is, starting from the central position, you're going to allow your right hand to come to the outside. And it may be just that fingertips are touching the mat, because rather than having you lean over, I want you to go ahead and stay upright. Okay. Now then, leading with the left hand, you're going to go ahead and inhale, bring it up. And then as you exhale, I want you to gently twist yourself to the right and allow this left hand to come on top of the right thigh. The diaphragmatic breath that we started with, I want you to continue with. So slow, steady inhale. And exhale. And as you breathe, if your body chooses and relaxes into the posture and says, yes, I can do a little bit more, then go ahead and go a little bit deeper into the twist. We're going to go ahead and do 3 cycles of breath here. So one more cycle of breath. And then on the next inhale, I want you to lengthen up and into the arm, gently unwind. Bring yourself back to center. Hinging through the hips, just very gently, ever so slightly, so that you can touch your fingertips onto the mat. Keeping your back long and straight and steady. Just a very, very gentle forward fold. So because it's morning and we're just waking up, this is really soft. Okay, we really want to love into our bodies this morning. Gently release, coming back upright. Again, the right hand is going to come over to the right side. Inhale, lengthen up through the left arm. Exhale, gently twist. Come in. And this time, if your body says, yes, I can do a little bit more. 3 cycles of breath right here. Just gently, slowly breathing in. One more cycle of breath. And then gently, slowly, with the next inhale, lift through that left arm. Inhale, sweeping yourself all the way back to center. Arm comes down. And again, hinging all the way down here. Okay, this is the crease where the leg and the trunk meet. This is where I want you to hinge from. Just ever so slightly hinge forward. Allow the fingertips to come down. Breathe. One more cycle of breath. At the end of the breath, gently release. Come back upright. One more time. Fingertips, right fingertips to the outside. Inhale, lengthen up through that left arm. Exhale, gently twist yourself around. Breathe. All right, this time we're going to do something slightly different. Rather than bring ourselves back to center, what you're going to do is you're going to stay with your body facing towards the right. You're now going to bring your right arm up and gently roll yourself over to the left. So your gaze, most of your torso is still working over towards the right. As you breathe deeply into that right rib cage and lengthen yourself over to the left. Breathe. Beautiful. Very nicely done. Awesome. Everybody looks fabulous. Good. And just notice as you're here where you're feeling this. Where is your sensation coming from? Can you feel it through the right rib cage? Do you feel any sensation down around the left pelvis? Do you feel any sensation that runs along the spine, coming from the back of the pelvis up? One more cycle of breath. And then gently, slowly release, leading with the right hand, coming back all the way down so that, again, you have support. Now lift through the left arm. Exhale. Hinging again, coming from that crease between the trunk and the hip. Gently bring those hands forward. Again, it doesn't matter how far forward you come, but just notice if there is a difference. Breathe. We're taking this just nice and slow so that our spine has lots of time to readjust. And then gently, slowly walk yourself back. Now, before we begin the other side, we're going to go ahead and now twist ourselves a little bit over to the left. So in order to make sure that we have happy hips, as we do this, allow this left hip to come back and allow the right hip to ease forward just a little bit. This makes it just a little bit easier to line our torso up over our left leg. Using our strap, we're going to place the strap around the ball of the foot. We're going to wrap our hands around the strap. Torso is upright. And again, focusing on the hinge. So we're coming from all the way to where the leg meets our trunk. If our body says yes, we're going to go ahead. Shoulders stay relaxed. There's no rounding through the shoulder blades, through the thoracic spine, or up into the neck. We're just very gently, ever so slightly hinging. So it's a small movement, y'all. It may be just a few millimeters or centimeters. But again, notice how this feels through the back. One more cycle of breath right here. And then very gently, very slowly, release and release the strap. Now we're going to change sides. So I want you to go ahead and bring the left leg in and allow the right leg to come out. Okay. So again, go ahead and restructure through the pelvis so that once again, we are pretty square. Okay. Good. Nice. And please, you guys, make sure if you feel like you're hyperextending through either knee, just place a little blanket or bolster underneath just to make sure that there's no hyperextension. There we go. Good. Thank you. Nice. All right. This time, the left hand is going to come behind. So again, we're just lightly taking the fingertips above. Inhale, lengthening through this right arm. So this was the left, this is the right. Exhale, gently, slowly twist in this direction. Breathe 3 cycles of breath right here. One more cycle of breath. And then release with this right arm. Inhale up. Bring yourself back to center. And now very gently hinging from the hips, fold forward ever so slightly. Bringing everything back to neutral. And gently, slowly release, hinge back. Okay, again, left hand comes behind, back down to the fingertips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, gently twist yourself to the left. Allow the right arm to come on top of the thigh. Notice the second time if there's a little bit more space within which for you to move. One more cycle of breath. And gently, slowly, you're going to unwind that right arm, bring yourself all the way back round. And again, hinging from the hip joint where the leg meets the trunk, and gently, slowly lengthening, keeping the spine long, keeping the shoulders relaxed. So please don't push to try to feel like you are going further forward if it means that you're rounding through the thoracic spine. I want the spine to just stay long and soft. So it really doesn't matter how far forward you go. And then very gently, very slowly release that. Okay, one more time. Left hand fingertips come down. Inhale, lengthen into that right arm. Exhale, gently twist. If your body says yes, and you can go in a little bit more deeply, that's great. You're following your body, always making sure that what you're doing feels good, feels yummy. This time on the third breath, I invite you to take this left hand. You're going to go ahead and bring it up. I want you to curl yourself back over to the right, even as you continue to gaze to the left. Breathe. And just take a moment to observe how it feels on this side. Because we use each side slightly differently, we may encounter different sensations, even though we're making the same movement, but we're working with a different side. So just take a moment to observe how it feels on this side. Where do you feel sensation on this side? Do you feel it through the rib cage? Do you perchance feel it through the front along the abdominal wall? Do you feel it along the back, close to where your spinal cord lies? Just observe and notice how that feels. Breathe. And gently, slowly release, bringing yourself back up. Gently unwind, lengthening into that right arm. One last time, gently allowing your torso to come forward. Take a moment to notice how that feels now that you've done both sides. Release that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move over to this right leg. So take a moment to adjust through the pelvis, which means that you're going to allow this right hip to slide back a little bit, and you're going to allow the left hip to slide to the front just a little bit, reorganizing so that it's much easier for you to stack your torso over the length of the right leg. Then grabbing your strap, wrap the strap around the ball of the foot, helping with the dorsiflexion. Wrapping your hands around the strap. Before you make any movement, just take a moment to feel the sits bones ground deeply towards the ground so that you can really feel the length through the spine. As you hinge, coming from where the top of the leg meets the trunk, you're going to keep this amount of length in your spine. So when you're ready, exhale, gently bending through the elbows. You're going to bring yourself ever so gently forward. You're being very mindful that you feel any lengthening through the center of the hamstring in the back of the leg, that you do not feel this behind the knee, and you also do not feel it up at the sits bones. Any stretch comes from the middle of the muscle. That's where you want length. Breathe. And just very gently, very slowly, bring yourself into your posture. Breathe. One more cycle of breath. And then very gently, very slowly release that. Then back into the knee, release the strap. Okay, you guys. So from here, we're going to remove our cushions and we're going to come to lay down onto our back with our knees bent. Gently, slowly bring ourselves down. Okay. All righty. So allowing our knees to be approximately hip distance apart. We're going to do the two movements separately before we put them together. So the first thing I want you to do is heel toe the feet so that they're next to each other. As long as that feels okay through your hips, through your knees, and through your ankles. Okay. So we went from being hip distance apart to now sidestepping in so that the toes, the inner edges of the feet are either touching or they're fairly close together. So with your arms down by your side, the first movement is to simply allow the legs to shift a little bit to the left. And again, you're making sure that you're only going as far as feels comfortable. And then inhale, bring both legs up. And then exhale, allow both legs down to sink a little bit over to the right. And then inhale, bring both legs back up, and then sidestep your feet out so that once again, feet are hip distance apart. Now we're going to do the movement that we're going to make with our upper body. So you're going to bring your arms forward, palms touch. You can either interlace your fingers so that your index fingers point, or you can simply keep palms together and overlap the thumb. So you're going to do what feels best. So again, what we're going to do is now we're going to move from the upper torso. So gently, slowly roll yourself over to the left, just the upper torso, keeping both arms straight. Breathe. Notice how that feels. And then inhale, bring the arms back up. And then exhale, gently roll just through the arms. The legs are still upright, over towards the right. Breathe. Beautiful. And just notice how that feels just with the arms. Okay. Now, sidestep your feet back together so that once again they're next to each other. We're going to move the legs in one direction and the arms in the opposite direction. So let's begin. We're going to go ahead and begin by allowing the legs to shift over to the left and allow the arms to come over to the right. Breathe. And notice that when you put the two movements together, you might have a different range of motion as you do this. You're going to keep focusing on drawing those arms towards each other so that they stay long. You're going to take one more breath and then inhale, bring the legs and the arms back to center. Now, when you're ready, we're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. So slow, steady inhale, and on the exhale, gently draw the legs over to the right and the arms over to the left. Breathe. Slow, steady inhale, slow, steady exhale. Take a moment to notice how this feels through the torso, through the legs. One more cycle of breath. And inhale up. And again, arms over to the right, legs to the left. Breathe. Inhale up. Exhale, arms to the left, legs to the right. And release. Inhale up. We're going to do this one more time. So slow, steady movement. Inhale, and as you exhale, arms to the right, legs to the left. Breathe. Nice. Inhale up. Exhale, arms to the left, legs to the right. And release. Inhale up. Release the arms, side walk the legs back out to hip width. Take a moment here and just what I want you to do is while your hips are on the mat, I want you to draw that left hip bone up towards your rib cage. Release that. Draw the right hip bone up towards your rib cage. Release that. One more time. Left hip bone up towards the rib cage. Right hip bone up towards the rib cage. Come back to center. This next part is going to use just the legs. So you're going to want to make sure that the legs stay approximately hip distance apart. Gently, slowly allow the legs to float over. So it's a little bit like windshield wipers. Allow the legs to float over towards the left. And as you do that, I want you to place a lot of focus on the lengthening through this right lateral side. So you're going to feel this possibly all the way down from the lateral side of the rib cage into the pelvis, down into the hip, and potentially into the front of your right quadricep. If you choose, squeeze a little bit with that right glute. That's just going to activate the leg a little bit more. Breathe here. Release. Inhale, both legs up. When you're ready, and take a moment if you need to, readjust to make sure that shoulders and pelvis are in one line. Don't get pushed off to one side or the other. So then when you're ready, exhale, gently lower the legs over towards the right. Again, notice how this feels coming through the lateral side of the rib cage down into that side of the pelvis. If you want to use just a little bit more, squeeze gently into that left glute. Breathe. And then gently, slowly release, bring it up. Take a moment. Again, with your pelvis on the mat, I want you to bring that left hip up towards the left rib cage. Release that. Bring that right hip up towards the right rib cage. Release. Come back to neutral. Again, we're going to allow the legs to float over to the left. Gently draw them down. If you're close and your body says, I think I can do just a little bit more, you can take that right foot and gently place it on top, you can take that left foot and ever so gently place it on top of the right knee. If you have knee issues, if you're afraid that this might be too much, please don't do it. This is only if your body says yes and you want to focus on feeling the opening just a little bit more. Again, take a gentle squeeze with that right glute. And gently, slowly. If you've got your left leg on top of the right knee, release that, and then bring both legs up. Take a moment to reconnect into how it feels in your back. You guys, please remember, be gentle. It's like your back's not used to making all of these different types of movements in all these different directions. We tend to get kind of locked into moving just in certain directions. So please, please, please be gentle. When you're ready, gently, slowly lengthen the legs over to the right. Again, only if your body says yes, do you bring that right leg gently on top of the left knee. Squeeze a little bit into that left glute. Breathe deeply through this left side. And then very gently, very slowly, release the right leg. Bring both legs back up. Take a moment, lifting through the back of the pelvis, feel everything, reconnect. If your body says yes, you can bring that right hip up to the right rib cage. Bring that back down. Bring the left hip up to the left rib cage. Bring that back down. From here, readjust, making sure that once again, hips, shoulders, head and neck are all in the same line. Again, making sure that knees and hips and ankles are about hip distance apart. What we're going to do now is we're going to work our way into bridge. So begin by very gently squeezing into both glutes, press down through the feet, arms are down by the side, and gently lift the pelvis up so that when you look at yourself in the computer, you are in approximately a nice long diagonal line that goes from knees to hips to shoulders. Breathe here, gentle squeeze. If your body begins to shake a little bit, that's fine. To bring yourself down, if you need a little bit more space, come up onto the balls of the feet and then gently, slowly roll yourself down, one vertebrae at a time. Once your spine is back on the mat, drop the heels, pause, and then gently draw the knees into the chest, making sure that you're taking care not to overflex the knees. So hands can come behind the knees or they can come just below the kneecaps. Gentle lengthening through the spine, gentle Apanasana. Slow, steady breath. Release that. Let the legs come back down. We're going to do 2 more sets. So arms are again down by the side. Begin by squeezing gently through the glutes. Press down through the feet. Lift. Check in. Make sure that you've got one long line. Gently squeezing into the glutes. Breathe. 2 more cycles of breath right here. And gently, slowly begin to release. If you need the extra space, come up onto the balls of the feet. Lowering yourself down with care. Releasing the heels. Pause here. And then gently draw the knees into the chest. Another round of Apanasana. Release that. Come back. Last set. Arms are down by the sides. Slowly, gently. Squeeze through the glutes. Lift. Good. Now, if your body is really open and this has become easy for you to hold right here, you're going to squeeze a little bit more with the right leg, bending into the knee. Lift the left, lower it down, lift the right, squeezing a little bit more into the left, lower it down, squeeze the right, lift the left, lower it down, squeeze the left, lift the right. There you go, good. Lower it down. One more time. Squeeze the right, lift the left, lower it down, and squeeze the left, lift the right. Good. Gently, slowly, to begin bringing yourself down. If you need the space, come up onto the balls of the feet. Still squeezing gently. Slowly lower down. Release the heels. This time, let's come into blissful baby. So let the knees open, soles of the feet come to the ceiling, hands come across the balls of the foot. Breathe. Let gravity do some work for you. Feeling this nice opening through the adductor muscles. And also re-lengthening into that low back. Nice, very nice. If your body says yes and you'd like to make this into a little bit of a resistance movement, I want you to squeeze through the glutes and gently press the soles of the feet into the hands. So there's no movement, we're just gently activating a little bit here. Breathe. And release that. Let everything soften. If your body says yes, you can go from blissful baby back into Apanasana, energy crane pose. If you'd rather stay in blissful baby, that's fine. And then gently, slowly, wherever you are, bring the knees into the chest. Gently roll yourself over onto your side and press yourself up. Beautiful. Awesome sauce. All right, you guys, how did that feel? Is that a good? Yeah? Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, you guys, so from here, we're gonna come on to tabletop. So if you need extra padding for your knees, please put down a blanket for your knees. All right, so Now that we did all of those movements for our low back, we're going to kind of start testing them out and see how it feels. Okay. So the thing to remember is that just because this might work, that sequence might work for some people, your body might need something slightly different. So we're going to just kind of test it out. If it feels better, great. If it doesn't, then we know that we've got a little bit more fidgeting to do, right? Some other postures might be better. So use your breath. I want you to gently bring yourself into cow. So you're going to allow those hips to lift. Allow your belly to sink so that you can begin to stretch and open. Breathe. Gaze is about 3 feet in front of you. And then when you're ready, exhale. And I want you to drop through the hips. Really feel those upper arms draw towards each other to help slide the shoulder blades out and around so that you can lift and separate in through your scapulae and tuck your chin high up and into your chest. Breathe. Release that. Come back to neutral. Here we go. I want us now to do working through a circle. So allow the belly to sink slightly. So this is 12 o'clock. Then bring the rib cage out to 3. Lift back into 6. Lift out to the side over to 9. Come back to midnight. One more time. Over to 3. Back and up to 6. Out to 9. Back to midnight. Now, from here, gently shift the gaze. Really focus on feeling that opening through the front. Exhale. Drop through the hips. Again, feel those upper arms gently work towards each other so that you can create space in between the shoulder blades and open into the thoracic spine. Check the chin high up and into the chest. Release that. Come back to neutral. Depending on what your knees need in terms of flexion, you're either going to walk from here, keeping the hips high, bringing yourself into puppy pose, or if you can, you're going to work the hips back towards the heels, taking extended child's pose. Just pause here, giving that nice opening through the entire length of the spine. One more cycle of breath. Now, no matter where you are, whether you are in child's pose or whether you are in puppy, you're going to shift your hips over to the left, and I want you to walk your arms over to the right. Oh, so now we're moving up our lateral line a little bit, and we're going more into the rib cage and underneath the shoulder blade into the armpit and the tricep. So notice that I'm doing this from puppy pose. I have my hips high. I could also do this from hips low and go from child's pose. Breathe. So arms are moving to the right, hips are gently shifting over to the left. Release that. Gently walk yourself back to center again, either coming from puppy pose or pressing hips back to heels in child's pose. Either position is fine. Feel your body soften. Now we're going to do the other side. Remember, you can do this either from puppy pose or you can do it from child's pose. You're going to walk your arms over towards the left, and as you do that, I want you to shift your hips gently over to the right. Again, moving up the lateral side of our body. So now, rather than focusing low at the QL, we are working more deeply into rib cage. We are working into the armpit. We are working into the tricep. And again, you can do this either from puppy or from child's pose. Breathe. One more cycle of breath. And gently, slowly, no matter where you are, release, come back to the middle. And from here, gently bring yourself up through tabletop and then come down all the way onto the belly. If being here flat on your belly is too much for your lower back, please put a blanket underneath your hip bones to the front. That's going to release. Notice that if I lift just a little bit, I don't have as much curve through the lower lumbar spine. Okay. From here, you guys, hands are going to come to the side. We're going to keep this very small. Legs are working towards each other. If you want, you can gently overlap your big toes. So the movement is going to be completely focused on the breath today, so that when you're ready, as you inhale, you're going to allow that inhale to bring yourself up. Now, once you've inhaled up, you're going to hold that. That's why your hands are here. And I want you to take a moment and squeeze through both glutes. Really squeeze. Begin by gently lengthening into that left leg. Lift it. Let it come back down. Keep squeezing. Lengthen into the right leg. Gently lift it. Bring it back down. As you exhale, let your body sink. And now with your hands, making sure that they are behind your collarbone. Elbows are moving towards the waist. You're going to push up and then gently press back, either into your variation of puppy or child's pose, doing whatever feels best for your body. What we're looking for is that release through the low back. Okay, from here, as long as your body says yes, you're going to take your hands, walk yourself up onto your knees. Here we go. Did I just chop myself off? A little bit. Okay, hang on one sec. There we go. Okay. All righty, here we go. From here, hands are to the hips. I want you to step. You're going to shift the body weight onto the right. Step that left foot forward. Breathe. Now, be gentle with yourself, y'all. So, very gently, begin to bring the hip forward and down so that you can begin to open into this right quadricep. You're also going to begin to stretch into the left adductor muscle. Again, you're being gentle. Should only go as far as it feels good. Breathe. Gently, hands are still to hips. I want you to push down through that left leg to bring the hips back up. Step back. Shift your body weight now into the left leg. Step the right foot forward. Again, hands are still on the hips. Gently, slowly, coming from the hips. Allow the hips to move forward and down. Please remember we're working two different sides, so this may feel completely different. Notice how this feels through the left leg in the extension, the right leg as you're opening into the adductor muscle a little bit. Breathe. Gently, slowly, hands to hips. Push down through that right foot. Bring the hips back. Step back. Now we're going to do another set. We're going to add a little bit of something to it. So I'm going to turn around just so that y'all can see. We're going to start by shifting the body weight, stepping the left foot forward. Okay? This time, we're going to stay upright. I want you to take that right arm, lift it up. Left hand is still on the hip. Gently twist. You're going to gently bring your right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Breathe. Gentle twist here. Gazing forward. Beautiful, you guys. Awesome. Really nice. Good. Gently, slowly. Leading with that right hand. Inhale, bring it up. Come back to center. Now, both hands on the hips. As long as your body says yes, I want you to allow the hips to come forward and down. If you want to do a little bit more, squeeze a little bit into that right glute. Squeeze gently into the left. If you choose, hands can come from the hips. Inhale, arms up and out. Gaze up to the ceiling. Breathe. One more cycle of breath. And release the arms, bring them back to the hips. Press down through that left foot. Come back. Step back. We're going to do the same thing with the right leg now. Shift the body weight over to the left. Step that right leg forward. Good. Lovely. Keeping your right hand on the hip, lengthen into the left arm. Exhale, gently twist. Let that left hand come to the outer edge of the right thigh. Gazing towards the computer. Beautiful. Look at y'all go. Very nice. Breathe. Okay. Begin by releasing the left arm. Inhale, bring it back up. Hands come back to the hips. As long as your body says yes, gently press the pelvis forward down. If you want to give yourself a little bit more, gentle squeeze in through the glutes. If you'd like to do a little bit more, inhale, arms out, wide. Gaze up to the ceiling. 3 cycles of breath right here. And release. Hands come back to the hips. Press down through that right foot. Step back. Okay. Here we go. Gently, slowly bring yourself back down. This time, I want you to go ahead and come down onto the forearms and lightly interlace your fingers. Okay. Now, we have a couple different ways that we're going to do this. First way, hands palms touch, fingers overlap or not. It's up to you. Using your core, gently, slowly. Hips are coming forward and you're working on staying engaged through the shoulders and bringing your head past your fingertips. Gently, slowly bring it back. Only if your body says yes are you going to go to a different variation. If your body likes this variation, you're going to keep breathing and you're going to keep bringing yourself forward and bringing yourself back. Second variation is to press down through the tops of the feet, lift the knees, and do the same thing. Next variation, if your body says yes, curl underneath the toes. Lengthen so that you are in half plank, meaning that your shoulders, your hips, and your ankles are all in one line. And you're still going to press hips back and forward. So choose which feels best for you. When you're ready, go. Breathe, take what feels best. And I want you to do 3 sets based on the variation that feels best for you. At the end of your 3rd set, bend back into your knees and take either puppy pose or extended child's pose. Feel your body soften and relax. Lovely, beautiful, nicely done. One more cycle of breath. And then gently, slowly bring yourself up. And one more time onto your back. Slowly, gently bring yourself down. Good. Take a moment here and notice how your body is feeling, especially through the trunk, through the hips, and the shoulders. So pretty much everything that we did today is really centered on the center mass of our body. So it's everything from our hips and our pelvis all the way up through the top of the shoulders and into the neck. Pretty centered today. We're going to finish through with eye of the needle pose. So what I want you to do is bring both legs up. I want you to bend into this right knee, bring it across so that the ankle bone or the ankle rests just above that left knee. Right hand is going to go through the hole. Left hand is either going to wrap around behind, making sure that you're not overflexing into the knee, or if knee flexion is okay, you're going to interlace just below the kneecap. Breathe. And if you choose, squeeze into that right glute really strongly, you guys. Really ask it to fire. Feel it relax. One more time, if you choose, ask it to fire. Feel it relax. And now you have a choice. You can either stay here and really focus on this hip joint on the right side, or if your body wants to do one more twist variation, you're going to go ahead, release the right hand, bring it on top of the right knee. Take the left hand and bring it on top of the left knee. Very gently, very slowly, working with your legs as a unit. Roll the hips over towards the left. And they may not go very far. So just breathe, move slowly. If you get close, you can drop those left toes so that you have an anchor point. And you're only working into the hip and the pelvis as far as is comfortable. Breathe. Slow, steady. Again, you are making sure that you are only moving in ways that feel inviting to your body, that feel safe, and that you can deeply breathe and relax into. No matter where you are, whether you are in the first part of the posture or into the second part of the posture, one more cycle of breath. And then very gently, very slowly, if you were in the twist, bring your legs back up. If you remained in eye of the needle, lengthen into the left leg, lengthen into the right leg. Changing sides, bend into the left knee, bring it across. This time, left hand goes through, right hand goes around. You're either going to wrap behind the knee or just below the kneecap, depending on what your body is telling you. Breathe and soften here. If your body says yes, squeeze deeply into that left glute. Really ask it to fire, ask it to wake up. Let it relax. Notice that that changes the posture for you. One more time, squeeze that left glute. Let it relax. Observe if there's a difference in the posture. From here, if your body says yes, if you would like to do something different, if your body's happy in eye of the needle, please stay. If you can feel something in your back, if there's a need or a desire to twist, you're going to release your hands. Let your right hand come up and over so that it holds on to the right knee. Let your left hand come to rest on top of the left knee. Then very gently, very slowly, working as one unit, allow both legs and the pelvis to gently roll towards the right. Again, you are only going as far as is comfortable. If you need to drop into that right foot so that it can act as an anchor point and stabilize you, please do it. Because remember, we're only going as far as our bodies are inviting us to go. Continue to focus on that diaphragmatic breath. One more cycle of breath. And then very gently, no matter where you are, if you're twisting, gently bring yourself out. If you are in eye of the needle, release the hands and then lengthen back up into the right leg, back up into the left leg. Take a moment here with the legs straight up in the air. And then when you're ready, gently bend into the knees, give yourself a gentle hug. And then lengthen, preparing yourself for your final relaxation, your final Savasana. So please take whatever you need so that you can feel completely grounded, so that you can really relax and integrate in what it is that we've done today. So if you need bolsters, if you need blankets, if you need eye bags, please take whatever you need. Let your eyes close, let your arms come down by your side. As you soften through your breath, take a moment to come back to the space of the observer and scan your body. How does it feel? Did you get some areas of release that you did not have before? Breathe and soften. Feel everything release. Feel everything relax. Release and feel your body sink into the mat. Feel everything soften. Gently, slowly, begin to find your way back. Start by moving fingers and toes, hands and feet. Allow them to make whatever movements feel best, most natural for you. Then gently allow your awareness to come back through your legs, through your arms, to the center of your body and into your breath. Taking a full deep inhale, a full deep exhale through the nose. If it feels appropriate, you can use your breath to bring your arms up over your head and stretch. Fingertips to toes, bones to skin. From here, gently draw the knees high into the chest. Give yourself that last gentle hug. Take a moment to say thank you to your body for bringing yourself through your practice today. And then when you're ready, roll yourself onto your side, press yourself up, and one last time, allow your palms to touch. Allow your thumbs to rest at the heart point on your sternum. You guys, thank you all so much. It's always an honor to get to be part of your day and part of your practice. I honor the divine in you, that is the divine in me, that is the divine in all of us. Namaste, and may the blessings be.